There was a period of time when I was completely against 100% sponsored events, and I didn't come to that conclusion lightly. I served on the board of the International Live Events Association, and here's the thing about boards. Some people have a business background and some people don't. And the model that they were using, let's call it optimistic. Throw an event every month, add in a few big ones, and get everything 100% sponsored. Free services in exchange for exposure. Look, exposure doesn't pay invoices. It also doesn't build trust. And here's why I really couldn't stand the model. I was asking my colleagues, the people that I respect, to give away their valuable time and money for the chance of getting something in return. That's not a partnership. That's called gambling. And yes, these events were spectacular. And then for 2 years in a row, I planned a different event. It was an event that was about 90% sponsored, like $300,000 in services donated each year. Guests loved it. People talked about it. People talked about the event for years, and they still are. The experience was phenomenal. But behind the scenes, sponsors were telling me something very different. They were saying, Jenny, the value isn't there. And I didn't have a great response for them other than, I'm really sorry, we'll do better. But that didn't sit well with me. Not as a planner, not as an industry leader, not as a human. Because after 2 years of planning that beast of an event, I realized I was angry. I was angry for 2 reasons. First, I built a reputation for building over-the-top events, but the sponsors weren't getting their true ROI. They weren't getting their value. And secondly, I felt like I created a culture where vendors felt pressured to discount or give away their services. Gross. I don't believe in that. In fact, I believe in the opposite. I believe that people should be profitable in this industry. I believe that vendors deserve to earn what they're worth. I believe sponsors should get genuine value, not vague promises. And so that realization added fuel to the fire that became part of my experiential edge. Because if I was going to teach event strategy, if I had to event strategy, it had to lead to profit, not burnout. Not for me, not for my beloved vendors, not for my clients, not for my sponsors. So I don't ask my friends for discounts anymore. I don't tell vendors, do it for exposure. And I train my clients to respect the value of creative labor. One client said to me recently, I can't believe a DJ makes he makes that much money in 4 hours. And I'm thinking to myself, but you don't have that skill. I don't have that skill. And he's honed his skills for 10 years to be really good at this. So he's worth it if you want it. Just because the client doesn't have the budget doesn't mean the vendor should suffer for it. So now let me tell you how this actually translates into real strategy. Sponsorships that work without discounts. Recently, I worked with a nonprofit client ready to scale. We're working on an event for 2026, and we're building strategies to raise funds for their annual event and the charities they support. And so as we're brainstorming, she threw out all kinds of ideas to attract higher donors, really smart ideas, big ideas. And I had to remind her, we can't forget the people who supported you from day one, because nothing kills donor loyalty faster than feeling invisible. We have to remember those who got us to where we are here today. So I proposed something really powerful, but really small. I said, why don't we do founding donor plaques at the event? We can make them for under $50, but emotionally, they are priceless, because the acknowledgement for the little guy, especially in a room with all these big spenders, hits the emotional center of loyalty, belonging, and pride. And that is an experiential strategy. I now use it in every event, every client, every industry. If you want to create profitable fundraising events without asking your friends and vendors for discounts, if you want sponsors and donors to feel valued, here's how I apply my 4-step experiential edge blueprint. Number 1, you start by defining the purpose. What are we doing here? Brand awareness, membership growth, raising funds for a specific mission. Defining the purpose right out of the gate clarifies every decision made moving forward. And it saves a lot of time explaining why we aren't adding over-the-top creative ideas to the budget halfway through the planning process. Just a quick Nope, that's not on purpose. It doesn't hit the goals. Move on. Second, you define the core emotions you want to achieve. What do you want your guests to feel like? Hope, pride, gratitude, urgency, nostalgia. Emotion is that engine that drives action after the attention is captured. If you skip this step, then you lose the ROI. And then third step is emotional mapping. This is where strategy becomes tangible. What emotion do you want them to feel? From the moment they receive the invite, walking through the door, to the event's emotional climax, to the moment that they leave. You intentionally design emotional touch points, and you give yourself ways to measure that impact. This is where fundraising events transform from nice and memorable to profitable. Lastly, you anchor the brand. Traditional planning starts with a theme and then it builds decor around this, and that's completely outdated. The new way, the effective way, starts with emotional strategy. You anchor the brand in each emotionally heightened moment so guests walk away remembering exactly who made them feel something. That's how you build loyalty. That's how you create repeat donors. That's how you engineer emotional impact. So let's talk money. Say your goal is raise $100,000 for the event. You sell tickets, you offer sponsorship tiers, maybe you add a live auction, but what really moves the needle? Understanding what sponsors truly want, not what you think they want. Forget the old list. We used to say, hey, in exchange, I'm going to put your logo on the banner. I'm going to throw it up on the screen after the presentation. Let's wrap the bar. You're the bar sponsor. They've seen it. They're numb to it. Instead, ask yourself, what is the sponsor trying to achieve? Is it exposure? Is it email list growth? Is it thought leadership, community visibility, a meaningful moment for them on stage? Then, this is the key. Overlay your emotional event map onto their goals. Ask them, where in this emotional journey do you want to show up? The climax, the launch email, the welcome moment, the closing emotion? Suddenly, you're not selling them a sponsorship through a sponsorship deck. You're offering customized emotional impact. That turns a transactional, well, maybe, into a confident yes. Sponsored events aren't the problem. The lack of emotional strategy is. When you use the experiential edge, guests feel something. Sponsors get real value. Vendors stay profitable. The event becomes a revenue engine that's not just event planning. It's intentional, emotionally intelligent event design. And it works. If you're ready to produce events that actually generate revenue, explore the Experiential Edge blueprint and never apologize to a sponsor or vendor again. And if you like this content, please click subscribe because I'm just getting started. Thank you. Glad you're here.